When you look back to the story of Santa Claus, you start seeing all the holes and thinking, how the heck did I fall for such a stupid story? Well, the same thing happens if you start looking at the Bible after you've left Christianity. So, I am here to present 3 more WTF stories from the Bible.
So gender is just a social construct, and believing in God is a crutch. When you mix them together and give them a whirl, what do you got? Atheist T-Girl!
Hello everyone, it's Atheist T-Girl, also known as Alanis. Today we're going to be covering 3 more WTF Bible stories, but before that I want to introduce a new segment called I am going to try once a week to include a clip from one of the fundamentalist churches, not just NIFB, but others, to show that they are still out there and still making outrageous claims, and we need to continue to fight against them. So here we go. This is the alleged pumpkin lover, McMurtry, talking about how often you should hit your kids.
And parents today, they think, I'm going to get up, I'm going to send my kids on a bus to school where they're going to watch them for most of the day, and they're not allowed to lay a hand on them, and then they're going to bring them back to me, and then we're all going to plop ourselves in front of a television and just do nothing, and then if my kid gets out of line, I could just go and I can just whack their backside and everything's going to be fine. Well, that's going to really get things in their heart that way. That is not what the Bible teaches. That is not all there is to it. You've got to teach these things diligently. And part of you, for you to be able to teach these things diligently, according to the Bible, when you're supposed to be doing all these things, that means you've got to actually be raising your kids. You've got to be the one training your kids. You've got to be the one teaching your kids. And if you think that you're just going to ship your kids every day off to a bunch of, some secular school that's teaching them that they came from animals, and you're just going to spank your kid a couple times a day and they're going to turn out good, you are nuts.
You ready for a palate washer? I am. Still a bad taste in the mouth. First, we're going to do the story talking out of someone's ass. History time. The tribe of Israel has left Egypt after being lost for 40 years and finally found a land to call home. It was discovered like Columbus discovered America, in that there were already people living there. God commanded the Israelites to take the land by offering a fair price and helping the people resettle. Oh wait, that would only be the way if it was done as if the Israelites were to follow the commandments God gave them, like thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not covet. Instead, they were commanded by God to kill everyone in the land. God does this a lot. When he wants someone dead, he wants everyone related to that someone dead as well. Well, of course, the people living there, the Moabites, were a bit none too happy that they had a war-hungry, genocidal death cult living right next to them. So they called in their secret weapon, Balaam. The Bible doesn't explain why, but somehow, despite not being in the line of Joseph or Israel, this guy was able to talk to God. And whatever he blessed was blessed, and whatever he cursed was cursed. The Moabites sent a bunch of servants over there saying, "Help! We're about to be massacred!" Balaam said, "Okay, chill for the night, and I'll tell you what God wants me to curse tomorrow." During the night, God came to Balaam and said, "Hey, these are my people, so no curses and don't go with these servants." So Balaam, being a smart man, said, "Okay, God," and sent the servants away. This didn't make the Moabites happy, so they sent even more people to beg Balaam. Balaam again tells them, "Hey, chill for the night, and I'll ask God again what he wants." You're going to see this pattern all throughout the Bible. Things are repeated over and over and over. It was almost like if they were trying to pad their stories and being paid by the word. God says that night, "Hey, I still don't want them cursed, but they've sent so many people and it'd be rude not to go. So go ahead and go with them, but only say what I want you to say." So Balaam, being a smart man, does exactly what God said to do. He got up and got ready and started on his way to the Moabites' land. and God rewarded him by 3 times trying to kill him. Despite having clear instructions from God to go to the Moabites, when he begins the trip, God gets mad at him and sends an angel to the road with instructions to kill Balaam if he comes by. Thankfully, Balaam had his trusty donkey, who somehow saw the angel and turned to the side and started walking through a field. The angel, missing his chance, moves to another location. This time there were vineyard walls, so when the donkey tries moving to the side, it crushes Balaam's foot. Because of this, Balaam beats his donkey. The angel, getting tired of watching Balaam whack his ass, moves to a third place, and this part of the road, the donkey just lays down. Balaam, being a man of God, does what all good men do. He grabbed a staff and started beating the donkey to death. At this point, the story gets weird. God lets the donkey speak, and instead of freaking out, Balaam has a conversation with it. Donkey starts saying, "Dude, why are you hitting me?" And Balaam says, "Well, because your ass is embarrassing me in front of the customers. If I had a sword, I'd kill you right now." The donkey says, "We've been friends for years, and have I ever let you down?" And Balaam thinks for a moment and says, "Well, no." And I imagine at this time he might have started to feel foolish about beating the donkey with his stick. Then God opens Balaam's eyes and he can see the angel. And then God tells him, "If you had reached the angel, I would have killed you." But instead, Balaam saying, "What the fuck, God? You told me to go." He instead says, "Well, God, if you want me to go back, I will go back." And God said, "Nah, you've already started. If you try to go back at this point, you'd be getting home by the time all the good restaurants are closed. So go ahead and go." And it doesn't say it in the Bible, but I think at this part, Balaam may have started going, "You sure, God? I mean, you're not saying that I can go, but you're really meaning I shouldn't go, right? Right? Donkey, you with me on this one? You sure?" And Donkey's probably thinking, "If I see that angel, I'm just going to buck Balaam into him." "Well, okay, Donkey, my beloved friend, let's get going." Balaam gets to Moab, and they show him where the Israelites are camped. Balaam asks for 7 altars to be built, and then slaughters a bunch of animals. Because, of course, at home he can talk to God from his bed, but when he is working, he has to put on a show. He then goes to speak, and instead of cursing the Israelites, he blesses them. The Moabites are nonplussed and decide to give him another chance. They move Balaam to another part where he can just see part of the Israelites. And they think, well, maybe God will let you just curse this part of them. So Balaam has to build more altars, and they kill more animals. And Balaam goes to give a curse, but again gives a blessing. There is something funny to note in this blessing. There's a line that he says, "God is not a human, that he should lie. Not a human being, that he should change his mind." If you've been paying attention, God has changed his mind twice so far in this story alone. I'm not sure how Balaam got that out with a straight face. The Moabites, not learning their lesson, move him to a third place where he can just barely see the Israelites. More animals are killed, and again, he blesses them. The Moabites are pissed and they send Balaam home, but I guess by this time he's in a blessing/cursing mood because he gives them 4 more messages that basically come out as, "The Israelites are going to kill you, take your land, and use your bones as toothpicks." And after this, Balaam finally goes home, where we never hear about him again. Next we have Lefty's Revenge. The next story is in Judges. I mentioned it in my last WTF video, but Judges is basically a lot of stories of Israelites making God mad. God sends invaders, the Israelites go, "Oh crap, we were wrong, save us God," and God sends a person to save them. In this story, there is a king named Eglon from Moab, which despite being prophesied to be totally destroyed by Israel in the last story, is still around. He's mean to the Israelites, and they get tired and start to call their ex. "You know, God, it was really good when we were together. I was foolish. We really didn't see what good thing we had. You think you could come over and give us a little help? So God sends an assassin named Ehud to take care of the issue. Eglon, the king, knows he is not loved, so he has a lot of security in his palace, so Ehud has to come up with some kind of secret solid snake level type stealth to get the job done. And this is his plan. First, he gets born as left-handed. Second, he makes an 18-inch knife. Third, he puts this underneath his cloak on his right side. Fourth, he is walked in and fists on the left side because right-handed men wore a weapon on their left side, and somehow the king's elite guards forgot that left-handed people exist. And finally, he tells the king he has a secret, and so the king hears this, and instead of being suspicious goes, okay, hey, all my elite guards, can y'all leave the room for a minute? So the king calls over Ehud and leans in to hear what the secret is, and Ehud stabs him. He stabs him so hard that the knife and the blade go all the way into the guy, and his fat rolls cover up the hole. Then, and the Bible is very specific about this, just as South Park always said, when the guy dies, he craps his pants. Yes, the Bible does talk about this guy crapping his pants. And here comes the last part of Ehud's master plan. He walks out of the room, closing the door behind him, and he looks at the elite guards and goes, guys, he's got a big dude coming. Guys, he's really had something bad to eat. He's on the toilet right now. You do not want to go in there. And, because the guy had crapped his pants, they can smell it. And they're like, oh, thanks, dude. Go on. Well, we'll get him later. And they wait. And they wait. And they wait. Until it gets to the point of being awkward. And so they finally start knocking on the door. And eventually they break in and find their king dead. Well, while they are figuring this all out, Ehud goes out to the Israelites and says, okay guys, the king's dead, let's take care of this. And they go and kill 10,000 Moabites. Because again, it's okay for them to break the 10 Commandments as long as God said it's okay for them to do so. And finally, we have Jesus and the pig. So, Jesus, he's a bit of an important person in the New Testament. And just in case you don't know, Jesus is also supposed to be God and the Son of God. So one day Jesus was walking around and he saw a fig tree. He's hungry and decided to take a fig from it. However, the tree had no figs because it wasn't the right season for figs. Someone who is God might know that this thing had no figs because he made the seasons and the fig tree, and it has this all omnipotent thing going on, but no, he gets surprised that there's no figs. Well, after finding no figs, he decides to do a miracle. I think it'd be something like, let's make this fig trees grow figs right away, or maybe it will have figs from now on till it dies. Or, let's move the planet and now it's summer and I can get my figs. But no, Jesus had a different plan. He freaking tells the tree to die. That escalated quickly. Then after this, he goes to the temple and proceeds to kick the asses of all the people selling things at the temple. The Bible describes it as him literally hitting people, pulling cords down and using them as whips to get the people out of the temple. So maybe Jesus isn't Jesus when he's hungry and he needed a Snickers bar. I don't know. The next day they go back the way they came, and the apostles note that the tree has died. And they are amazed, and Jesus tells them, I told you, I'm the God-man. And then he says this statement, I tell you, if anyone says to the mountain, go, throw yourself into the sea, and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. By the way, how many mountains have we seen moved by his followers? And if they did manage to do this, wouldn't that cause a tsunami? But it got me thinking, and I've seen enough horror movies / suspense movies and books to know how we could get this done and prove that God is real. The key is we need to have faith without a doubt. Now, that might be the cop-out that theists use now. You know, you're an adult, so you have doubt, no matter how much you claim you don't. So that's why when you tell that mountain to move, it's not moving. If you had full faith, that mountain would move. Now, that might sound a little disingenuous, but that is this excuse that is used nowadays when people pray to God to get healed, or get prayed about someone dying, and they still die. They get told either maybe it was God's time, although the Bible here says if you believe it and pray it will happen. So instead, they also get told, well, maybe you just didn't have enough faith. You know, throw the dead loved one onto the person who's mourning. But you know who does have full faith? A kid. So here's what to do. Take a baby and keep it in isolation. Teach it that God is real and that anything you tell it to pray for will happen. Then you do stuff like tell the kid, okay, it's time to pray for food, and the kid will pray for food, and you'll push a hidden button and out of the table will rise food. Or you tell them, are you thirsty? Pray for some water. And again, water comes out the wall or something. This kid is going to grow up thinking you are their conduit to God, and that anything you tell them to pray for will happen. Then you take them to go see a mountain and say, okay, now pray for that mountain to move. Also, maybe while you're at it, pray for that dead tree. It really didn't deserve that. I'm really looking forward to seeing the theists prove this one true. And it should be quite interesting, but please let me know before you do it, because I live on Florida coast and I really don't want to see a tsunami. Thank you everyone for watching. If you liked what you see, be sure to like and subscribe and ring ding dingling that bell. YouTube claims they'll let you know when the next video comes out. I've got doubts, but it's better than nothing, and it's probably more effective than prayer. If you have any questions, be sure to ask them or put any comments in my comment section. My standing policy is that if you put anything homophobic or transphobic in there, I will delete it. This is a safe space, and you can cry about it if you want. If you're looking to talk to me or see me online, check me out on Twitter at atheist_t_girl. I'm pretty much on there all the time except when I'm asleep. And I really hope that y'all enjoyed it and that y'all have a great day. Ehud's got something to tell me. So Ehud came up to the king. It's thundering. It's still thundering. It's still thundering. Wow. Whoa, it's still going. That was long.